It is Saturday, August 21st. A beautiful day, 2021. Quite a few 21s in there. Might want to play some lottery. About 1:42 p.m. West Coast time here in California. A little bit of activity ramping up along the West Coast here. You can see some earthquakes popping up along the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault into parts of California, north of Soledad. Southwest of Los Banos, in just right off the San Andreas Fault system here. A 3.3 striking near Ridgemark, California, 9 kilometers below the surface for that quake. Let's check out the all magnitudes here, see if they've had any, well, I don't see any aftershocks. This section right here, the creeping section, or I like to call it the creeper section, does get quite a bit of activity on any given day, any given week, any given month. But it can build up a little bit of strain over time, but most of the time it's pretty much below 4.0 when it comes to releasing some of that strain. Although, like I said, sometimes you can get some bigger quakes on there. 2.0 east-northeast of Lopez Point, well off the San Andreas Fault, kind of out here towards the San Simon Fault. And also had some activity ramping up over here around the Antelope Valley area into the east crest of the Sierra Nevada near Colville, a 3.1 in the mix of that activity. Pretty shallow earthquake activity near, it's 27 kilometers south-southwest of Smith Valley, Nevada. And, of course, that's where the larger quake struck some time ago, a couple weeks ago now. Maybe a few weeks. No, it's not quite a few weeks, but a couple weeks. Still getting some aftershock activity, but today kind of getting up there in the magnitudes, above 2.5 threshold for that 3.1. Off the coast of Oregon up here as well, getting some movement into the Cascadia Basin. Well off the coast of Oregon, had a 3.4. 10 kilometers for the default depth. Also down here to the south, right into, it's kind of odd. Well, we've been kind of watching this area down here. Right, been kind of watching. Let's go back the last 7 days. I'll show you guys all the magnitudes here. Well, they kicked a lot of it off. Must have been over 7 days. But anyway, been watching a lot of deeper movements here into the southern end of Cascadia. Also a little bit of activity in the basin, the Cascadia Basin as well. But we haven't seen too much activity up here to the north, smack dab within the Cascadia megathrust area. The fold and thrust belt. This here is a lot of strain, and this is kind of like the spring, if you will, of activity when it comes to building stress. This quake really shallow. This one struck today at, well, they have it set at negative 0.6. I don't know if it's been reviewed or not. That struck a little bit ago. It has been reviewed. Kind of odd to keep a depth of that level. So kind of keeping an eye on it. We just haven't seen too much earthquake activity into this part of the Cascadia subduction zone, so it might be worth keeping an eye on. I've always said out here, just off the coast, probably Gold Beach area is where we're going to, well, maybe not Gold Beach, around not central Oregon, but the central coast of Oregon, where we could see, I think anyway, looking at past tremor and buildup of stress with the tremor taking place. I always think it's going to be right around here where it starts to unzip when it comes to a megathrust. Even a partial unzip, I should say, or release of pressure along the Cascadia, I think will strike right about here off the central coast of Oregon, which is bad news for the folks there. Excuse me. Still got a little bit of smoke in the air here in California. Trying to survive. Some deeper movement, once again, Mount Vernon down through Seattle, right along the Seattle fault system. This fault capable of producing an upper 6.0 magnitude quake. Might be pretty bad for them in Seattle if that does happen. Been watching quite a bit of deeper movement here over the last, well, at least the last week, but this goes back further than 7 days. Specifically along this section of the Seattle fault. Quite a bit of deep movement in this region, running from west to east, east to west, however you want to look at it, parallel with the fault systems there. So watching the Pacific Northwest and the Cascadia very closely. Into Idaho, looking pretty quiet compared to yesterday. A little bit of movement taking place up there, but overall, the big picture appears to be along the extreme west coast out here from about, well, obviously from Washington southward, where we're seeing some movement down here. West of the Salton Sea, once again, San Jacinto Fault area, Superstition Hills section, kind of at the northern end of it. A couple small quakes, microquakes in that area. No major swarming in the Salton Sea or along the Imperial Fault, which sometimes do pick up quite a bit of swarming when we see an increase in pressure along the North American Pacific Plate. Let's see what we've got. Idaho. When did Idaho move up into the Gulf of Alaska? Woo! A little bit of movement along the Aleutian Trench here. Looks a little bit more minimal today compared to yesterday, as well as the Japan area looking somewhat quiet. Yes, there is some minimal activity. This Yellow Sea earthquake was there yesterday, 4.6. No new movement in that region today. Through Indonesia and down into Fiji. Not a whole lot of new movement either. Still seeing some deeper earthquakes along the trench here, the Port Vila area, just to the northwest or northeast of Fiji as well, near Samoa. Looking down here into the South Sandwich Islands. I love sandwiches. I keep saying that, don't I? Quite a few fours. It's an inside joke. Quite a few fours and whatnot taking place over the last 24. But overall, I think right now we're watching the West Coast. Hawaii getting in on some of the Pacific Plate movement as well in the southeast flank, up around Kilauea as well. A little bit of activity near the Kilauea crater. Yellowstone National Park, and I checked that out a little bit earlier. Not a whole lot going on. There's some small, very, very small microquakes taking place around the northwestern section up here. Holmes Hill, Maple Creek once again. Lake Butte, Lake Yellowstone, Pelican Cove, all pretty quiet. These readings up here on this station are errors. It's not magma intrusion. Magma does not go in that type of fashion or format. It's errors on the instrument readings themselves. Oops, where'd the other one go? Same for where'd it go? Okay, this is the old one. Let me go back to the new one here. This one right here, Lake Yellowstone. This is something going on, kind of like a generator. It kind of reminds me of a generator going off every 30 minutes or so. Some type of equipment that's nearby. I don't know what, but not magma. Magma does not go in steps, and every 30 minutes or so. I don't think it's any type of geyser activity. It looks too consistent with what I think is some type of power equipment or generator, something going on there around Lake Yellowstone, but definitely not magma. There's some of the earthquake activity, microquakes towards the northwest edge of the park. You can see just a couple small quakes around the area, and especially over the last few hours here. Still kind of watching that after that three-pointer that struck there yesterday, over 24 hours now. Anyway, all right, folks, like I said, I wanted to bring back up the stream. It was my fault. Man, gosh darn it, when the stream's running good, I accidentally unplugged something. I was hooking up a new home stereo system here just to add a little touch to the audio. You could never have much clear, crisp, bassy audio, right, when it comes to TV and whatnot. I don't watch a lot of TV. But I do play a lot of music and whatnot through my home system, so kind of did a little rearranging and put a little bit different receiver in. And like I said, I unplugged the router, and sure enough, it unplugged my network, and yeah. So anyway, we are back. Live stream's up and running. Hope everyone has a good day. Stay safe out there. Just kind of getting started, I think, on this earthquake activity. It's pretty obvious the West Coast kind of looking at some movement right now. So we'll keep you guys updated. We'll be back a little bit later on with a complete update video on Saturday night, which is tonight. Stay safe, everyone. Peace out.